Hi everyone, I'm Nick James and this Scarlet Beauty on my lap is the Knaggs Severn X Tier 3 in Red Drift. So first up, bit of history. Who's Knaggs? Well, Joseph Knaggs paid his dues and made his name at Paul Reed Smith Guitars. He was there from the very early days on the production line. And then in 1996, alongside Paul, he created Private Stock, which you may have heard of. They're the very, very top-end PRS guitars, and they cost a fortune. You're looking at £8,000 plus for a basic Private Stock, and the sky's the limit price-wise. In addition to that, he designed some of the more famous PRS guitars, the Archtop, the Hollow Body, the Mirror, the Starler, the 513, loads and loads of stuff. There's a transition model called the Chop Tank. It's a 3 single coil, single cut guitar. It was very, very different to anything PRS were making at the time. It didn't work out in the PRS brand, so he went off and did his own thing, and is now making some of the finest guitars to come out of America under his own name, which is Knaggs. They're unique in that you can look at a Knaggs model and see where its inspiration lays. So models like the Honga, the Kanai, the Severn and Severn X, the Chop Tank, you can tell what their heritage is, but they've all got their own unique take on that to bring it into the 21st century, but still retain some classic lines. This is the Severn X. The Severn body is the same. It's the neck that varies between the Severn and the Severn X. So on the Severn X you've got a 14-inch fingerboard radius, you've got a different neck profile, and you've got slightly bigger frets. This one has an ash body, swamp ash body. It has an ebony fingerboard. It has a mahogany set neck, locking tuners, Evo gold frets, which if you've never tried, you absolutely have to do so. They are fantastic, fantastic fret wire. And they've got his own designed hinged bridge, which is super, super smooth, but still has a really wide range of travel and actually returns back to pitch beautifully. I'm talking Floyd levels of performance. Once this thing is in tune, it stays in tune. It's got 3 Seymour Duncan pickups. It's got 80K middle and neck, which the K is for Knaggs. They're custom wound with a sort of Texas flavour. And then we've got a JB trembucker in the bridge. Master volume, tone for the middle and neck, and a tone for the bridge. 5-way standard S-type switch, but there's a push-pull on the bridge tone control, which works slightly different to how you might expect. Down, it's a typical S-type guitar, so you've got bridge single coil, bridge and middle together, middle and neck together, and then neck. You pull it up, and that brings in a series second coil to whichever pickup selection you've got, aside from in the middle. So position 1 is full humbucker, because it's the 2 coils in series. Position 2, you've got bridge humbucker and middle single coil. Middle stays the same, just middle single coil. Position 4, you've got all 3 pickups as single coils. And position 5, you've got neck and bridge single coils like a telly. So 9 sounds, even with everything on 10. Really, really clever system. It's different to anything you've probably played before, in that you have to pull up to engage the humbucker sounds. But once you've got used to it, it's a really intuitive system. This guitar is light and it is resonant. You hit an open G chord and it feels like an engine going against your rib cage. The thing that really sold this guitar to me was the semi-gloss finish. I've had satin guitars before, I've had matte guitars before, I've had gloss guitars before, and this really is its own thing. They should call it silk, because it's not glossy, it's not got a sticky neck, but it is just absolutely smooth as anything. Whereas a lot of matte finishes, it'll be textured or dimpled. This is just pure silkiness. Absolutely fantastic, and it's a unique selling point for the brand for me. I've not seen another manufacturer can apply a finish this well, this thin. Let's get to some sounds. I've got a Friedman Pink Taco combo, and I'm just going to briefly run through clean, some crunchy chords, and then some dirty power chords. So we've got 27 sounds to get through, so with no more further ado, so position 1, bridge single coil. Position 2, bridge single coil, middle single coil. Position 3, middle single coil. Position 4, middle single coil, next single coil. And position 5 is just the next single coil. So then back to position 1, tone pot up. This is the full bridge humbucker on its own. As you can hear, that's pushing the front end of the Friedman into overdrive. Position 2 is bridge humbucker, middle single coil. Position 3 stays the same. Position 4 is neck and middle in parallel with one of the bridge coils in series, so all three together. And finally, position 5 is neck single coil with a series bridge single coil. So that's one of my favourite sounds. It's like a telly on steroids. As you could hear, I hope it's coming through, with the tone pot down, it's really, really classic S voicing. So now I've dialed up some mild overdrive on the Pink Taco. Let's do it again, 9 sounds. So, tone pot down, bridge single coil. Position 2. You can really hear that S-style spankiness there. Middle, so middle single coil. Position 4, neck and middle. And position 5, neck single coil. Back to position 1, tone pot up, so this is bridge humbucker. Position 2, bridge humbucker, middle single coil. Position 3 stays the same. Position 4, all 3 pickups. and position 5, neck and bridge. Dialed up quite a lot of drive on the Pink Taco. We'll just go through some power chord stuff. So tone pot down, S type switching, so bridge single coil. Position 2, bridge single coil, middle single coil. Position 3, middle single coil. Position 4, neck and middle. And position 5, neck single coil. Back to position 1, tone pot up, so this is the bridge humbucker. Position 2, bridge humbucker, middle single coil. Position 3 stays the same. Position 4, all 3 pickups. And position 5, neck single coil, bridge single coil. So the track at the beginning, I was really trying to use as many pickup combinations as I could just to highlight the versatility of this guitar. And what I really love is the way that you can, it's so responsive, it's so dynamic. So let's set up a nice clean sound. So tone pot is down in single coil mode, volume on about 4. So there was no pedals, no channel changing. In terms of value for money, it's a tricky one. It's not a cheap guitar by any means. Tier 3 in the drift finishes with the Swampash bodies start in the UK at £2,799, which is a lot of money by anyone's book. However, when you compare that to the competition, that will get you a Les Paul Standard. It will get you a team-built Fender custom shop. It won't get you a core PRS anymore. So it is slightly cheaper than the competition, but build quality is up there with the best of the best. There is not a single thing out of place on this guitar. The fret job is perfect. The neck shape is exactly as it was intended to be. The finish is flawless. The weight and the resonance are world class. The pickups are sublime. The wiring is unique and it works. You've got this brand new bridge that is only available from Knaggs that takes a classic recipe, adds a few tweaks, and it performs superbly. You get a luxury case. Guitar making simply does not get any better than this at any price. I thoroughly recommend that you find your local Knaggs dealer and you try as many from the range as you can, because every model has got its own character. And I said before this video started I wasn't going to gush, and I know that I'm gushing. In terms of negatives, yes, there are possibly some subjective negatives, but they are subjective. For me as a player, when I get a bit carried away, I turn a bit percussive. I don't know how well these will pick up on the camera there. Not very well. This pickguard is made of wood, and it's quite soft, so I've got dents and I've got scratches just from where I've got a bit carried away. If you're a more accurate player or a lighter player, that's not going to be a problem, but if you're a bit heavy-handed like I can be, that's just something to bear in mind. For me, the trem itself works perfectly. I love the way it stays in tune, I love the way it responds. Like, you can go from a Gretsch type wibble which you can't do with a traditional Fender style trem. You normally need a Bigsby for that. But this, you know, it's really hard to describe. It's got such a smooth action, but you can still dive bomb as well. And it's got a huge range, but it can do the subtle warbles or it can do the dive bomby Floydy thing equally well. The only thing subjectively I don't like is the screwing arm. It never seems to quite be where I want it. If I do it here, it's then too tight to move quickly, whereas if I set it up so it moves quickly and out of the way, there's just a little bit of play in the arm, which is just a minor irritation, but I've seen a couple of guys have said it was a deal breaker for them. Now, I spoke to Peter Wolf at Knaggs about this, and he said that they tried the collars, they tried the bushings, but this screw-in system actually sounded better than other trem arm attachments, and who am I to argue? They're the guys that have done the R&D, they're the guys that have tested it. If they say that this was a conscious decision on terms of tone, fair play, I can't argue with that. And, you know, it's for 99% of people it's not going to be a deal breaker, but it's just something to bear in mind when you go and try it. So, in conclusion, pros, fantastically well made, unique sounds, unique look. It's modern, but it's also got a classic vibe. You could turn up to any stage in the world with this guitar and you wouldn't look out of place, whether that's a jazz gig, a metal gig, an indie gig, a blues gig. This fits in. It's a timeless design with a modern edge, and that's a great way of describing the sounds it makes. It can do the super strat thing, but it can also do classic S-type sounds that everybody knows and loves. Value for money, it's about right. As I say, it's not a cheap guitar, but you're getting a lot of guitar for your money. You could spend 3, 4, 5 times as much as this and you wouldn't find better. Once you start going up the tiers, yes, the price can rise pretty rapidly, but the guitar's performance and core features stay the same. Once you go up the tiers, it's mostly aesthetics or personalization. Tier 3 is a great place to start for a great guitar. As I already said, I really recommend that you find your local dealer or you find somebody who has one, but you have to try one of these guitars. They're world class. So I've been Nick James, thank you for watching. Please subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done so already. Check me out on Facebook, Nick James Guitarist. Check me out on Patreon, Nick James Guitarist, and please visit my website, www.guitargo.co.uk. I'll see you next time. Cheers!